Let us say professional voiceover is your goal. You want to be in the professional voiceover field, or you want audio quality to be so good that your clients are satisfied and keep hiring you repeatedly. So what kind of process or workflow should you follow? This video is actually about the overview of the process, an overview of the workflow. And if you follow this process even blindly, you will get much better audio every time. Now, if we think about the voiceover workflow, then it should be like this. You record, then you edit, then you process, then you edit again, then you master, and finally you export. The edits are optional. Sometimes you may not need to edit at all, or you may only need to edit before or after processing. Edit means removing errors, copying and pasting, and trimming waveforms here and there. Sometimes, processing can also take care of the mastering. Mastering means fixing the loudness for the final audio. Processing means applying audio effects to enhance the audio quality, and that can also fix the loudness for the final audio. Instead of focusing on all those things at once, I will show you the workflow for recording and processing. These two are our most important phases. These two steps define your quality most of the time. I also have a guide for this, a cheat sheet. This cheat sheet includes the basic steps for recording and processing. If you follow this cheat sheet, then you will get much better at your audio. If you are watching this video on YouTube, this guide is available on my school community. You will find a link in the description to join the school community. More on that later. Step 1 of the professional audio is a clean recording. The cleaner your recording, the better the final audio. Before recording, make sure you have selected the correct microphone in Adobe Audition settings. After selecting the microphone, check the recording level. If you double-click on the meter, it will show you the current level. When you talk, you should keep your level between -18 decibels and -6 decibels. If it is less than that, there may be issues with the recording setup, recording position, or other factors. Once you have checked the level and are ready to record, you should use the default settings. It is up to you what name you should give to your file, but other settings should be as it is. These settings will give you a recording that is easy to work with. If you change these settings from their default value without knowing exactly why you are doing that, you can fall into trouble that is difficult to fix. Let us say we have recorded an audio, and we have got a good enough recording, and it is time for processing. What is the first step of processing? The first step after processing is to normalize to -3 decibels. I am just showing you how to do that, not the full explanation yet. This guide has the explanation of why you should do that and how to do that. To normalize to -3 decibels, you can go to Favorites and choose Normalize to -3 decibels. So that step is done. We have normalized to -3 decibels. What is the next step? The next step is noise reduction. I will be using the denoise effect. The denoise is a basic noise reduction effect and should give you a good result with 30 to 40% noise reduction. There are other noise reduction effects, but denoise is the simplest to use. For better quality noise reduction, you should use a third-party effect that I will discuss later. I am going to use denoise for now. Noise reduction is the basic process. The amount should be 30 to 40%. Do not use more than that, otherwise it will have negative effects on your audio. So normalize and denoise are done. What is the next step? Then we will fix the tone with EQ. This step is important because EQ can be the determining factor for your sound quality. Whether your clients like your work or not can depend on this step. Here is an email conversation between me and a voice actor. I asked him if he was using a preset I built for him. He replied that his client is so happy with the result that he has become the company's permanent voice talent. The main ingredient of that preset was a custom EQ. The EQ is a bit complex, as it shapes the tone and emotion of a recording. You should start with a basic EQ, and then build upon that. So the EQ effect can be applied by going to Effects, Filter and EQ, Parametric Equalizer. Let me show you that. You can modify this a bit for your voice. The most basic EQ is a high-pass filter, and everyone should use this at least. I am skipping the details as I am giving an overview of the overall process, but if you follow what I am doing, you will get a good result. A high-pass filter is used to tame down low-frequency noises. Another adjustment on the EQ curve is a boost on higher frequencies. Boosts in higher frequencies adds clarity to the voice, making it crisper and smoother to listen to. However, when done incorrectly, it can add too much sibilance or sharp S and can make the overall tone harsh. You can try this curve and check how it sounds. If it resulted in harsher sound, you can turn it off. For this audio, I will use both the high pass and high frequency boost. Please note that this is not the end of the EQ technique, just the start. We will see more advanced techniques as we progress. I will apply this, and then I will go to the next step. The next step is the compressor effect, and you will see what settings to apply. It is another complex effect, like EQ, and voiceover success depends on how well you can use EQ and compressor. I have given a basic configuration as a starting point. If you follow all the steps I have shown you so far, this configuration will be okay most of the time. To use compression, go to Effects, Amplitude and Compression, Dynamics. For now, you follow what I am doing to configure this. Choose the soft compression preset. That will activate only the compressor for a typical voiceover. Then set the threshold and ratio I mentioned in the guide. Please note that there is no specific value for the threshold and ratio. It depends on how much compression you need and the purpose of the voiceover. Too much compression can make the audio sound unnatural, whereas wrong settings will have no effect on the audio. I will use a configuration like this for now, and I suggest you do the same. I will apply this. The waveform now looks quite balanced. However, there is one important step after the compressor. You have to apply the normalize effect every time you use the compressor. Because compressor tames down the peak level, we have to fix that by using a normalize effect just after a compressor effect. Always keep that in mind. The audio is now fully processed. We will now listen to the original and the processed audio. The top track is the original audio, and the bottom one is the just processed audio.
Some people claim that all aerators are created equal. Well, we beg to differ. Ranch works past their aerators are engineered with forged ranch tech blades designed to penetrate deeper and aerate more effectively than any other aerator on the market.
You could clearly hear the difference between the raw and processed recording. However, you may think it is just about increasing the loudness, but it is not as simple as that. Let's compare by setting the same peak loudness. I normalize the audio to -3 decibels to make it loud. I will now compare the normalized audio to the processed audio. The top track is normalized, and the bottom track is the processed audio shown in this video.
Some people claim that all aerators are created equal. Well, we beg to differ. Some people claim that all aerators are created equal. Well, we beg to differ. Ranch works past their aerators are engineered with forged ranch tech blades designed to penetrate deeper and aerate more effectively than any other aerator on the market, with a lifetime guarantee against breakage to back it up. Weight, cutting surface, and speed set us apart. Visit ranch.com to see why ranch aerators are cut above the rest.
You could hear the difference. If you are listening through laptop or computer speakers, the difference may not seem huge, but if you listen through headphones, you will hear a significant difference. These type of small details is the key to winning voiceover jobs. So your next step would be to practice these steps over and over. I saw people already spend thousands of dollars to get better audio, but can't do this basic processing. This is the foundation, everything else is built upon it. If you have access to the classroom, you will see what the next step is. If you are watching on YouTube, you can access this classroom for free. Sign up for a free school account and join this master editor group. Once you log into school, you will see several tabs and go to the classroom. You will have immediate access to the free classrooms. The lecture you just saw is from the Studio Voice Workflow classroom. Inside that class, you will get this lecture in a simple cheat sheet lesson. You will find all the links in the description and pinned comment.